I've attempted to build my own dream pre-runner out of my first truck, and I've just about destroyed it. For those of you that are new around here, let's bring you up to speed. This is my 2007 Silverado, my first truck. I bought it back in 2014 up on the west side of Oahu in Makaha, which is why we call it the Makaha Runner. It's a nothing too special truck, but has been the foundation that this channel was built on. And I decided years ago that I was going to try and build my own DIY pre-runner out of it. So we've done quite a lot. A CWF long travel kit out front, king shocks, Deaver springs, and a hanger and shackle kit out back. Fiberworks fenders, bed sides, 37-inch tires, Willwood brakes. I even stripped the entire interior and lined it in Dynamat. So now we have a truck that spews transmission fluid all over my floors and makes horrible noises anytime it moves anywhere. Obviously, a lot of TLC is needed in today's video, but more importantly, we have a pre-runner build with stock bumpers. That's gonna change today. I really do love this truck, but obviously there's a lot going on the dash. The suspension, although long travel, makes horrible noises all the time. And the truck's about 6 different colors at the moment. This thing needs some attention. Our priorities have been focused on another vehicle, as you guys have probably seen with my wife's 2020 Trail Boss. We're focusing back here. Holy crap, even more lights. It's Christmas! This truck needs some love, but more immediately it needs some fuel. First thing we're doing today is starting here at the back. We have a lot of work to do on this bumper, but before then, we're gonna mark our bed sides. You guys in the comments are awesome, by the way. Mentioned that as this body flexes, you're gonna want a gap between our bedside and the bumper. And as you can see there, we cut that exactly flush. We're gonna mark it now, cut it later, but we need to do a lot of work on this bumper. Let's get to work. So it's pretty obvious this bumper has rust all over it. It's bare steel. When I initially installed it, I figured I'd pull it off shortly after and paint it quick. Well, life happened, and here we are, finally getting to it. This plate bumper made by Dirt King is absolutely solid. They offer it in different finishes, but I opted for the bare steel, given I wanted to try and paint match it with the truck eventually. And because it's been so long, the bumper is covered in surface rust, which we went to town on with some 400 grit sandpaper. It's finally time to paint this thing. Dirt King plate bumper off the truck and sand it down. Top, bottom, inside, and out. So we got primer. We're gonna sand it again after the primer and then hit it with a color matching paint out of a rattle can. And then we're gonna go back and clear over the top of this. So the plan with the Dirt King plate bumper is to actually paint match it with the dark Ming blue metallic of the truck out of a rattle can. What's the best solvent to use prior to painting bare steel? Oil, grease, other contaminants, acetone, mineral spirits, or paint thinner. All right, we'll get some gloves on for this one. Got some acetone, we're gonna wipe this thing down. Make sure no oils from my hands are getting on here. And then we're gonna actually primer the underside, let it dry a bit, flip it over, primer the top side with a couple coats. Let's see if ChatGPT is right about acetone. Can you get pro level results from a rattle can? We're gonna find out in a minute. Because it's so much easier than using an entire paint gun setup. Shake, spray, done. Starting with priming the inside of the bumper, we gave it a few coats. I'm not concerned at all with getting a perfect smooth finish on the inside, just want to keep it from rusting. Flipped it over and then primed the side we actually need to make look good. Using just a basic sandable primer, we lay down a light coat first and then go back immediately with a second heavy coat. Making sure to get full coverage because I want this beautiful blue color to stick for good. And side note, yes, I should be wearing a mask. With a little bit of water from the hose, we wet sanded the outside to get it nice and smooth. Ready for the first coat of our rattle can paint match color. We've sanded down our sandable primer and it is silky smooth now. But there are a few spots where we sanded through the primer back down to the bare metal, so we have some self-etching primer. I'm just gonna hit this on the bare spots and I think I can just paint right over the top of this. You guys ready for some blue? We got Duplicolor Perfect Match. This is a dark Ming. Ooh, I'm glad I checked that. That is not the right color. This is the color. So nothing special about these guys. You can pick these up at AutoZone. Just make sure you're picking up the right paint code. That truck, if I check the VIN number, it's actually supposed to be silver. And once I found that out, I stopped asking questions about the history of that truck. I know the fenders are still white and so are the bed sides. We'll get to those eventually, but I needed the bumper to stop rusting. Oh, it's so pretty. One of my favorite colors. It's so hard to paint with this thing. Oh, chicken. All right, guys. Hi, buddy. Was that Bucky? My boys mentioned in passing they wanted the chickens, so Sarge loaded them into the car and went and got chickens. They got 4 of them, so they have 2 chickens each. They don't live here. If you're watching from my HOA, they do not live here. They're just visiting so they can play. Come on, Bucky. So we got Bucky, Gas, Tanner, and Prince. And Maui, who's freaking out. Okay. I will say the paint does not go very far. This is can number 3 for a bumper. Last little piece of a recipe for our custom paint matched bumper. This is my little secret. Now with this painted, our dark mean blue metallic color match color, there is a massive difference between this color and for say the color on the tailgate, because the tailgate has a very thick coat of clear on top of the base color that gives it that beautiful OEM glossy sheen. This currently looks like a rattle can paint job, and the clear coat is going to be what solves it. Now this is a very delicate process. You have to get it right or else this is going to look like trash. I'm not really good at it, but I've gotten okay at it. This is gonna be kind of hard to see, and this truck is covered in dead bugs at the moment, but this mirror cap, years ago we took it off, sanded off the texture on this portion, painted that gloss black, rattle can paint matched this portion, and then over the top of everything, a 2-part clear out of a rattle can. And years later, it still looks phenomenal. I use this all the time. It's got a seal, you break the seal, you mix up the 2-part hardener and clear together, and you have, I think, 2 days to use it, or else it will harden up. You will be throwing out the excess if you don't use it quick enough. And today being a very hot day, we gotta use that fairly quick. And it is great for the paint and curing, but not so great for me trying not to sweat all day long. But fortunately, we have a great sponsor sponsoring today's video that's gonna help me stay hydrated regardless of how much I'm sweating out here in the Mobetta garage. Big mahalos to Element for sponsoring today's video. So what is it? It's an electrolyte drink mix. 0 sugar, no other dodgy ingredients like food dyes that are found in some other sports drinks, and it's been keeping me hydrated for over a year now. Now inside this package is something special. It's a limited time flavor that they just launched, and I invited this lady out because this is something that we are big fans on in this household, and it's lemonade. Now for me, that perfect ratio is about 32 ounces of water to 1 packet of Element. And here is all the needed electrolytes for a sweaty day like today to stay hydrated, no muscle cramps, headaches, fatigue that I typically experience when I just kind of focus in and work and forget to do this. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium in this easy to go little packet. Now if I had to rank it on my favorites, so citrus salt is still my number 1. Lemonade probably number 2, and then it goes watermelon, then grapefruit. They have a bunch of different flavors, which you guys can try using that link in the description below, drinkelement.com/Lone Star. Join the thousands of professional athletes and overconfident do-it-yourselfers like myself, and hit that link in the description below. You can get a free sample pack with any purchase. And as always, there's no risk to that purchase, because if you guys don't like it, give it to a salty friend and they'll refund it, no questions asked. Thank you so much to Element for sponsoring today's video and keeping me hydrated by staying salty. Let's get back to this bumper, get this thing clear coated. Man, that's good. Now it has been a few months since I used this stuff, so you pop off this red cap at the top, and at the bottom, you see this? Press it on there. Break that seal. You're gonna mix up the clear and the hardener together all inside of here, and it'll be ready to spray. Well, all right. I've stopped cursing, so we're back. It is plate steel, so fortunately it didn't dent. Now I have to put this in the sun, let the clear coat cure, and then sand it and repaint it. I swear. Well, now that we repeated our first few steps, again, we're back to clear. And man, I'm constantly surprised at how much a simple clear coat just transforms a paint color. It looks so good. 3 coats of base, 3 coats of base, 3 coats of clear, and we're gonna let it sit now. Now it doesn't look perfect, obviously, because 1, I'm an idiot, but 2, we still want to kind of finely sand and then buff the clear coat, and that'll really smooth it all out. We also have this guy here, because I had a massive rock chip on it, sanded it back down. We're gonna hit it again with some clear to make this mirror cap, you know where this came from, look good. That's drying up. That one's about ready for clear. Very few things hit the spot like this Element Lemonade. Element, please keep that as a 52-week item. Don't make it limited time. Keep it forever. It's too good. It's still drying, but we have, I don't know, just a little bit left of this, so we are hitting up this mirror cap. All right, that's coat 2. We'll do one more coat of that for the mirror cap. That's pretty much done. I realize that this is gonna get torn to bits with big 37-inch mud terrain tires that kick up rocks all day, but that's okay. And as it gets worse and worse, we'll probably just rhino line the bottom section, but until then, it's paint matched. These are looking amazing. So while that's curing, we're hopping on to our next task, which is dealing with something that I totally screwed up on when I installed these bed sides. So passenger side, when I went to trimming and cutting the inside of this thing, I actually thought twice before I cut this area here, because this point has no structural tie-in or integrity unless you cut this piece in that direction. But on the other side, we didn't. So if it makes any sense, that's what happens when there's nothing for it to tie to. I decided the best quick fix would be to weld a small plate from the back side of the bedside skin, yes, there's metal behind that part of the fiberglass, and tie it to the inner bedside frame, if you can call it that. With that solid, we trimmed out the areas around our bumper where it's going back on. That way it won't ever make contact when the body flexes. All right, we've got our little tab welded on. She is not pretty at all, but it's holding it in place. It's all I really want for now. When we do final kind of paint and body work prep on this thing, this has got to come completely off. And when that comes off, then I'll recut and actually weld this thing properly. But for now, that's solid. It's not going anywhere. We trimmed the little excess that we needed off of here. So while we're in here and waiting on that bumper to cure, we're gonna go ahead and cut up our license plate lights, because the new Dirt King bumper actually comes with license plate lights as part of the kit. So we have these, but we need to wire these in. But I'm gonna put a plug in place just in case I do need to remove the bumper. I don't have to worry about unhooking and taking out the license plate lights. There it is. Paint match bumpers on there. Now keep in mind, we still got a lot of cleaning up to do in terms of polishing this out, but the main goal of today was to be sure that we are protecting this from any further rust. And then also with our license plate lights, we wired in just these basic plugs. Plugged in. 3, 2, 1. Is it working? Yeah, let's go. That's a win, guys. They're gonna look so good here. Wait till you see what we have in store for our front bumper, which, let's go ahead and grab that now. All right, guys, here it is. A Drew's Fab pre-runner front skid plate slash bumper thing that's gonna be going on the front of the Makaha Runner. Now, this is gonna require us to actually get rid of the lower half of our factory bumper, but it's gonna retain this stock portion, which I love that idea. So I have no idea how this is all bolted up and on here. So basically this is gonna be gone, these are gonna be gone, and I have to cut somewhere along here. Gosh dang it. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to do this, but here we are. I cannot figure out how to remove this silly cap because I can't see what's going on up underneath the headlamp. So I do need to remove the headlamp, but in order to get the headlamp out, the front grille has to come off. And in order to get the front grille off, I have to take this top shroud off. That's all coming off. Let's get it off. Break my heart and leave me hurt. The next one just don't do me worse. So if they all no good, I'll just be bad with you. 'Cause my mother told me Cold air intake filter. Cold air inductions. Yeah, I need to clean that. With the headlamp out of the way, we could finally access those 3 push pins on the top and then the 2 10mm bolts up underneath holding this cap on. And just like that, she's off. Could probably clean this up and repaint it, but we're gonna hold off till we do final paint and body on this thing. We're just gonna cut it, put it back on. I would say now it's looking like a pre-runner, guys. Look at that. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. There's a lot of spots where we are really starting to rust, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand or scrape all that off and get a thick coat of paint under there just for protection. And we're gonna clean all of this up before we get our new pre-runner bumper up and installed. So that should sit right flush at the bottom of this bumper. It looks like a pre-runner, kind of. I realized real quick my dreams of this being a quick and easy install was in fact a dream. It's a really cool bumper from Drew's Fab. Bolts into the stock location for the tow hooks, but in order for this to fit flush up against the truck like I wanted it, I was gonna have to trim quite a lot. With the bumper now clearing the main bumper bracket, we can now see where we needed to trim the once chrome bumper to clear the new pre-runner bumper. That's a lot of bumpers. You know, when I was working in the corporate world, the word should was essentially a curse word. Never say the word should, but this should be the last time that this is going on the truck. So we think we have everything trimmed, ready to go. So this is the clearance for the upper portion of our skid plate pre-runner bumper. In addition to this portion, which we had to cut completely off of this bracket here, as well as over here. I also noticed that this setup is actually like a little bit off-centered. I'm not sure if this is on purpose or a mistake, but this gap is much larger than that gap. But it looks somewhat straight when it goes on the truck. So I'm not sure if it's a OEM versus aftermarket type of thing, but because of that, the cuts or trims had to be different here, as well as here on the front bumper. This should, curse word, be the last time that this thing's going on the truck. So you are gonna have to change up some of the hardware on this thing. On the lower side, I probably could put the factory components back on there, but it looks goofy with a bolt sticking through it. So I'm gonna go get some graded hardware, put it through this way, put a nut on the back side. That way it looks a lot more clean. So on the bottom side, where it mounts up to the cross member where the lower control arm is, we do need to hone that out a little bit larger, and we actually need to drill it all the way through the back side. That way we can get this bolt through, because right now, it's not gonna fit. Here we go. Here we go. This is the only way to do it, guys. Bumper's on. Now we gotta figure out where we are going to cut these side caps. Now this is the part I've been going back and forth in my head for days now. Because you have the style of the new ZR2 where it kind of cuts up and you expose more of the tire, better approach angle, I think is why they do it. Or you go straight across like every single picture I've seen of a Silverado of this era, pre-runner. But I don't like doing it like everybody else. Let's figure this out. After much deliberation, this is gonna be our cut. I've tried every rendition I could think of to try to give a little bit of a head nod to the new ZR2s. The new ZR2 Silverados, the bumper will come here, kicks up, and then goes over, exposing a lot of the tire. Well, a lot of our tires are already exposed, and then also this is the shape of the body, and there's a lot going on behind this cap, a whole lot of bracing. We're gonna have to figure that out, but this gives a little head nod, got a little kick up right here, and it goes back, gives me the angle that I want. A lot of the folks that run this bumper just basically take a straight line from here, cut it all the way across, and call it good. But I want a little bit of an angle in there, and I think especially from the front. is gonna look phenomenal. Problem is now I need to take a cutoff wheel and then make that cut. And once we cut, there's no going back. It has to be right the first time. And there's also a whole bunch of stuff going on the backside. I'm gonna use a jigsaw because if I use that grinder, it'll actually melt the paint as I cut it. So hopefully this is gonna keep the temperature down. It's dang plastic coming up. Can't see the line. Moment of truth. We gotta see how much of this metal bracing we're gonna need to cut off from behind here. Oh, that looks really good. So what we're gonna do, I gotta cut that one still. Mark on this metal brace behind here and cut it exactly behind this because it'll give us structure. Heck yeah. In terms of updates, I do have an exciting update because we just hired our first ever employee here in the Mobetta garage, but the employee doesn't get paid, and it's also a robot. Guys, I've been trying to figure out ways that I can save time in my day-to-day, and this thing came up, and it seemed pretty interesting. The guys over at MyMotion reached out and said they have some pretty cool robotic lawn mowers, and I laughed because I got a pretty big yard, and there's no way a little robot could mow it all. Well, it turns out that this Luba 2 model can, and it's really impressive. It was super simple to put together. It does take a little bit of time to set up the mowing areas. You drive it around like a little RC car, but once you mark out the areas you want it to mow, it'll pick a pattern and cut some of the best stripes you'll ever see in your lawn. Call me old, but there's very few things that get me going like some good lawn stripes. He is almost done with this acre. Guys, there'll be a link in the description below if you want to check out stuff like this. This actually blew my mind. I had very low expectations for it, and it has absolutely killed it. I am so stoked. I'm gonna get back at least 2 hours a week now because this guy, once it's programmed, just does its own thing. My neighbors are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not gonna complain about me getting 2 hours a week back in my schedule because of this guy. The question is, what should we name him? But it's gonna be strong, hopefully. Oh my, it looks so good. The cut, the angles look really good. And also, it's solid. We have the full bracing behind here. We had to get a little creative on how to retain all that. So we have this bar that goes from the frame all the way out to this point. But the problem was, this actually bolts into this bracket here, but the bolt is down here. So if that bolt remained there, it would hang down below all of this that we cut off. So what we did instead was we cut that completely, welded up and around. So this is now part of this bracket. And we can pull this all out, no problem. We have 2 bolts right here and this comes right out. But because we retained this, this is solid and strong. Everything else is cut up and out of the way. It was a lot of cutting, but it turned out for the best. Everything is pretty dang seamless. We are gonna clean this cut up just a little bit eventually. We go to painting this thing. We have to do everything all over again for this side. Just to show you guys what we were talking about, we have this bracket, which used to be bolted together. It is now welded together. Don't judge my welds, they're ugly, I know. Now it's gonna bolt onto the frame. This will hold this plate in place, and this plate is gonna hold that blue OEM plastic piece on top of here. So everything works together, everything is solid, everything will go back together, and then we have what's going on to the new bumper, which is right there, all pretty and gloss black, ready to get scratched up. It's so shiny. This home stretch is always the best part of these videos for me. Putting on for the final time the passenger bumper bracket, headlamps go back in next, and the front grille and shroud. Hood's gonna close for the final time, and we are ready for our brand new skid plate. Are you kidding me? It looks so good. I actually was a little bit worried starting this out on how this would look when I'm done with it. I saw a few photos online. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna love this, but the way we've executed it, how clean everything is, It looks so good. But one more little addition for the skid plate. So there we are, ALOHA runner. That's gonna sit up there, real nice, real subtle. And this actually is a different color than you see across all of our vehicles. This color, kind of giving a sneak peek into the future, is gonna be a big part of his final build. There's the beginning. The skid plate on this bumper is a solid piece of aluminum, and for whatever reason, the vinyl did not want to stick on it, so we had to get creative on the back side. But it's held in with 4 pieces of hardware, which is super fun to install by yourself, as you can see. That's clean. Now, this is just temporary for now. When we do this final livery on this truck, this is going to change up quite a bit. But this is just a little sneak peek, and also just kind of an area to cover up some of the imperfections on this. But yeah, that looks so dang good. My goodness, this truck. It looks better and better every time we mess with it. And it still retains a lot of the OEM aesthetics that I love about this truck. It just takes it up a notch. Yeah, that's a lot of tire. It's now very visible. I like looking at all this. This is a good time.
So good, that sun is shining. Ay, tell them my feet kicked up like I ain't trying. Yeah, this is what I want on summer, yeah. Gangs all here, let's run it, yeah. 5 right here, 100, yeah.
Oh my goodness, this thing looks good. I say that every time I work on this truck, but this time I seriously mean it. Starting out with our bumper here. So keep in mind, we still need to cut and buff this guy. So probably 1,000, 2,000 grit sandpaper, and then go back with a polisher to polish this out to get rid of some of the cloudiness you see right there. This is gonna look just like this once we do that. We're gonna let that sit for a little bit longer. Bumper looks fantastic. It's not gonna rust anymore. Now going to the front end here, I can just stare at this all day. This thing looks absolutely serious now. I'm going back and forth on what I did here for our skid plate. That is a gloss black vinyl wrap. That is gonna get torn to shreds over time. I'm fine with that. Also, it kind of ghosted in a lot of the work we did. I don't know. That actually might end up a different color when this is all said and done. Going back and forth on the black vinyl.
No, I like it. It's gonna get all banged up. I like it.
That's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the progress on the ALOHA runner. As always, this is my first time doing anything like this. If you saw anything messed up or have an idea, leave it in the comments below. We'll catch you guys in a few days for our next video. Until that day comes, as always, y'all take care. Ahui ho. Aloha.
Shoot!
Shoot, brother.